What's up? What's up?
What? Hey,
How y'all doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Can't
Good,
complain.
good. Happy Wednesday.
It's
It is Wednesday. Listen, I'm super excited about the show tonight. So y'all gonna have to calm me down, reel me in. I'm gonna try to do very little talking tonight because y'all know I can talk a lot. But we got fellas in the building. We got the gents on deck tonight. Listen, so real quick, before we do anything, y'all already know what to do. Go share this live. Go ahead. Go, go, go. Run, run, run. Go share the live. I want you to tag the gents tonight, ladies. Come on, gems. Bring the fellas in here. Tag your brother, your husband, your boo thing, your ex boo thing, whoever. Just get them in here. We want the men in here because tonight we're talking loved black man. Okay, we're talking about love, self-love, falling in love with myself, but from the perspective of black men. We got two really dope guests that I think are going to bless you, are going to encourage you, inspire you. Ladies, you're going to learn something too. Even though we're talking to the fellas about the fellas, we are going to learn, and we going to shut up and listen, right? We gonna listen. We gonna be receptive to what the men have to say tonight. So listen, real quick. Go on, take a minute. Go ahead. Go take a minute, real quick. Go ahead. We're gonna wait. Y'all go ahead. Come on. Go get the fellas in here. Mel, Tiff, let's tag some guys. Come on, I'm gonna tag all of my brothers because I got a lot of brothers. All right, I'm gonna tag all of them real quick. And then when we ready to go, Tiff is going to kick us off with our sober up. I'm gonna tag my dad up in here. I'm about to tag everybody. We're gonna get them in here, get them in here.
I'm scared to tag mine because I tagged them this morning.
Tag them all. Listen, we tag all the fellas. Everybody got to be here. We want all of y'all in the building. All right, Tiff, go
Listen,
ahead. While they're doing that, go ahead and do the sober up moment.
okay, so we yesterday was National Voters Registration Day. If you are not registered to vote, I'm not gonna say I don't care who you vote for because I do care who you vote for, but who you vote for is not my business, right? Yesterday was National Voters Registration Day. Everybody was out getting people to sign up, but the sober up moment goes to Mr. Elon Tesla Musk, okay, who entered the conversation by Xing because it's not Twitter anymore, so it's not a tweet since he bought it. Whatever. I digress.
Next universe or something weird. Yeah.
Whatever. He posted a comment that was very questionable by stating that there have been two attempted alleged assassination attempts on 45's life, but none have been towards Kamala or Tim. And so I think he caught a little bit of backlash because the comment got deleted. But here's what I gotta say. First of all, Mr. South Africa, mind your business, stay in your lane. This not your conversation. All
At
right.
all.
So that's number one, right? Number
Yeah.
two, what the assassination attempts are
Mhm.
not the answer.
Mhm.
Okay, there are policies, there are procedures, there are things in place. But third of all, come the day after election day, this entire country is going to need prayer because it is going to get flipped on its axis. Because either way, there are going to be people big mad and butthurt at who will be sworn in on in January. So
Facts.
the sober up goes to we are all allowed to have our thoughts, our opinions on the election. Death is not an answer.
Mhm.
And can we please take this out of the gutter? Because regardless, we look like a bunch of boo boo the fools to
Mhm.
on the grand world scale
Mhm.
when it comes to these other countries. Like
Yeah.
we look foolish.
No, I agree. I agree. And I think our argument is so trivial, right? No one's arguing or disagreeing about policies and which either candidate stands on. We're literally arguing about likability and personality. And that is just not sufficient to run a country. I'm sorry. It never has been. And so I think like that is my biggest issue with Americans and with media. Like, why are we perpetuating the debate on likability, personality, social following? You know, can we focus on on their policies? Can we focus on what they stand on? What's their position on education? Because that's still a problem. Still a big issue
I,
here.
I do want to say that it's a little hard to have conversation on policy and the trajectory that a candidate would want to take the country when another candidate is talking about people eating pets.
No, but so you see what I'm saying? So, and that's my point exactly. If you can make statements like that, there was no context, no justified, like where did that come from? Where did that come from? And yet there are still people standing by him like he's going to do an
Yes.
excellent job. Is he?
So, all right, my last comment on this, and this is no shade towards anybody, right? But Mel, you're from New York. Tima, you from New York, and all I gotta say is, y'all know what the rumors are about the Chinese food.
Listen, I'm quiet.
I gotta be quiet because I'm not
In all my some odd decades of life, I was like, I've never seen a meat truck pull up to the Chinese restaurant. But we're not gonna go there because y'all not gonna ruin that for me.
No, no.
I want some chicken wings right now.
Don't you ruin the orange chicken in the hood for the folks? Okay. So
They eat General Tso's.
thank you for the sober up moment. I am in full agreement with you. Elon needs to go ahead and leave politics to the folks who matter. Like stick to making electric cars and the other things. Leave this alone. Like leave your opinion out of this. Thank you. I mean, I guess he's being a billionaire. He feels like he can say what he wants and do what he wants. But we would love for you to just sit this one out. Tip, you got another announcement before we bring out our dope guest tonight.
Yes, I do. So, the theme of this entire month has been falling in love with myself. It is a pun play on the fact that the event that I am hosting on this Sunday, September 22nd, is the first full day of the fall equinox, hence falling. It's sold out. Woo!
Woo!
I'm just saying, the lineup is lining up. We got some dope diamonds who are coming into the space to lead some in-person gym classes. They are getting ready to be powerhouses in the house. And I ain't gonna brag, but my husband, Chef Amos of Corner Cubbage, is getting ready to slam down in the kitchen, probably neck and neck for him and Mel. And that's because I love them both, but he feeds me more than Mel do. So yeah, but Mel, I told him some of the things. Some of the things that we had when we had our writers retreat. I was like, I want the French toast bake. So yes, but yes, we are sold out. I am so honored that because this was 3 years in the making, and I was very nervous the whole time. Like, what if nobody comes? What if nobody comes? You know what my husband told me this morning? He says, who cares if anybody comes? You still got their money. That's not the point. I didn't do this for the money. I did this for the message. Put that on a shirt. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the message. Mel, you wrote that down, right? But yes, I'm so excited. And I can't wait to just do a recap of the event when we rejoin in person the first Wednesday of October. Y'all stay tuned to find out what's happening next week.
That is going to be so dope. And yes, we do this for the purpose, not the profit. We are so proud of you, super excited. To all of our diamonds and gems who are going to participate, y'all better show up. Come on, you made the investment. Go get the fruit, okay? Go get the return, get in there and have a great time, and make sure that you tell people that the next time they have this event, you need to be there. All right, so look, we gave y'all ample time to tag folks in the comments to get them here to the episode. We want everybody here, but we really want to see our men here tonight so that they can receive this. So Mel, before we bring out our dope guest, our special guest, do we have anybody in the comments we want to shout out? Anyone we want to say what's that?
They in these comments. Let's see.
In there.
I see y'all tagging people. Let's see. We got our Diamond Michelle's in the building. Shell Mack is here.
Hey, Shell.
Bernadette is here. She's tagging some people. We appreciate
it.
Who else we got in here? We got Ivory in the building.
Hey, Ivory.
Let's see who else. Let's see. It's a lot of tags. Tagging.
We love it.
Daisha's in here. Our sister Daisha. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys. Yes.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us on Hustle and
Thank
Shine. We got Andre Westfield in the building.
That's my chocolate drop. Hey, Boo Thing.
Hey.
What's you?
Hey, Boo Thing.
My sister's in the building. That's right. Tips event is on my sister's birthday. You should swing by for brunch. Go spend. Oh yeah, they sold out. Dang it.
Oh dang.
Sorry, sis.
Catch you next time.
Oh man.
We got the real McCoy in the building. He about to be on here.
We love it. Get them in here. We love that. No. Well, thank y'all so much for being here. Continue to tag throughout the show. But it is about time that we brought that masculine energy to the platform. We about to bring them in the building. So look, we have a newbie for y'all tonight, and this is someone very near and dear to my heart. It is my best friend. Yes, I have a male best friend. I sure do. We have been riding tough for dang, I don't even know the math. It's been a really long time, but he is someone that I respect greatly. I have watched his life journey since we've been friends, and it is just one that I've been so impressed by. And so you're going to get to meet him. You're going to get to hear from him. He is super low key and mild and chill, and I'm the loud one and the big energy one in the friendship. But let's bring out my bestie, Mr. Damo. Well, y'all can call him Dominic. Damo is for me. Go ahead and bring him out for me, Mel.
That's her best friend.
Hey, good evening, gems and gents. Hey, what's going on, man? That's my best friend. I was happy, man. She asked me to come on this pod one because this one here, yeah, we need this one. The men need this one.
Thank you. Damo,
welcome.
Welcome. Before we jump in, please tell the people a little bit about you. I hope my intro was sufficient, but you let them know who you are.
I mean, the intro was great. I almost felt like a superstar. I almost felt like I was in the starting lineup for the Bulls back in '80, but at '96. But anyway, I'm single male, 42. Just turned 42. This journey's been in what we call life has been through ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it in. And I'm just a hardworking man, just taking care of my kids and getting better every day, growing every day. So
love that. We so appreciate you for being here tonight. We're gonna share his contact later. I'm telling y'all, he's gonna drop some gems where you're gonna be like, yeah, I need to know that brother, because he's not just talking about this, he's living this. Like, he is living the life of self-love and really just being a better man, as he said. And again, someone that I respect truly. I hope our other bestie is watching tonight. We are a trio. It is Damo, Shy, and Tima. And so hopefully Shy is in here. If not, I'm gonna tag her in a minute. All right, so we got another guest. It is definitely a face that you've seen before, a voice that you've heard before, and one that you certainly appreciate. He came on the show and dropped gems nonstop. He did not ask for our permission. He was like, I'm coming through with the come through. And so he is back tonight with more for you on this topic. Let's go ahead and bring in the Real Talk Toy. Let's get him in here. What's good, Toy? Welcome. We can't hear you. Wait, let's unmute him. Hold on. All right, there you go.
That's not like the intro. Didn't ask for any permission. That's awesome. I like that. So how y'all ladies doing tonight?
Good.
Blessed and highly favored.
Mo, how about you, sir? How you doing tonight?
I'm holding on with two hands.
All right. Can't wait to have this show. It's gonna be a great one.
It's going to be dope. Thank you so much, Toy, for being here. Again, our gems and gents, some of them may have remembered you from the last show, but please reintroduce yourself.
Yes, definitely. So, Real Talk Toy, my actual name is Toy, which is, I know, interesting. But my name is Toy. I'm actually a podcast host myself for Real Talk to You, which is on YouTube and also on Facebook. But also my main 9 to 5 is being a business consultant. And also I have a business called McCoy Manor, which runs a couple of Airbnbs here in Atlanta. So that's who I am in a nutshell. And of course, I love conversation. I love great conversation that, either challenges me or just as a Leo, lets me know that I'm right anyway.
He said Leo, hey.
Another Leo.
Big Leo energy up in this face here. Come through.
Always.
just hyped right now.
Look, you see the mane. You see it.
You see it?
I'm,
I got the name. We do this.
I'm in full hip hop nostalgia right now. Toy got Biggie and Pac in the back. I'm like, come on, and represent real hip hop.
Yes,
Sure.
of course.
Oh yeah, he's definitely 90s. The vibes are there. All right, so look, we got some comments welcoming our gents to the platform. Mel, let's take a look at those before we introduce our first subtopic. There's one in particular that has me crying laughing. I ain't gonna put her out there, but if you see it, go ahead and
I
throw it
saw
out
it. I was
there.
like, you said put it out there. I'm going there. Hey, that's fine.
Oh man,
No, it doesn't say fine. It says fine.
like 6 E's.
Yes.
He's fine.
Yeah, I love it, T. Thank you sis, for being here. Yes, y'all are getting all the love. Somebody else said, okay, so she just gonna have both black fine men on here. We are. We had to bring you eye candy, and they're emotionally intelligent, and they're smart, and they love Jesus. So yeah, all that for the two of them. All that.
They said
Awesome.
too much on the full bearded black men.
That's what they saying in the comments. Look, I can't help it, y'all. Y'all asked
Any
us.
messages that come to your DM after this episode, Hustle and Shine is not responsible.
We are not responsible for
Filters.
anyone who slides in your DM after this. But look, we heard y'all and we delivered. So we got a really, really great show. So real quick, we are talking loved black man. That's what we want to focus on tonight. Mel and Phoenix and I are going to do more listening than talking, but we are at least going to introduce our subtopic. So the first subtopic tonight, we are talking about, Mel, if you could pull that up for me. We're going to talk about the programming. Black men and self-love, the black men and the self-love narrative. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a post asking the fellas on my Facebook to tell me how they practice healthy self-love. Like, what does that look like in an actual tangible practice outside of fitness? How are they showing up for themselves? A lot of the comments I got, they repeated going to their doctor visits, making sure they're doing their wellness checks. We love that for you, black men. They also talked about therapy. I loved seeing therapy up there. I absolutely love that is no longer taboo in Black culture and in Black community. They also said things like going on solo dates. Come on now. I love that one. And I love that one because we are in an era where women feel like, when men want to date them, they have to also sponsor their lifestyle after 30 minutes of conversation. And so them taking them solo dates saves a lot of money. And I'm very happy for them about that. And the last one that was a consistent theme on the thread was that they try to get together with other fellas. They try to spend time with their homeboys where they feel safe enough to emote. Now, that is something I had never heard until that post. And so I want to talk about why, first of all, what is the black man self-love narrative? What do you both hear? And then also, why is it that men feel safer expressing self-love in the presence of a homeboy or a healthy male relationship, ladies, versus us? And so first, I'm gonna come to you, Damo, our new visitor, our new guest. I'm gonna come to you first. Talk to us about both of those subjects.
I really believe that, like you said, the thing with us being able to relate, I'll start there with other men. Most of the time is because we're going through the same things. If you know anybody that's been in those situations before, 9 times out of 10, if it's somebody close to you, you're able to express it. So you feel a little easier in expressing your experience with that. On the flip side, the men that know that type of business about you are less likely to use that in a scenario when things are heated. Because men fight with fists, more often than not, the real men fight with fists. Women kind of fight with words. They don't put themselves in this position to fight you, and then they'll use those words, and that scars you. That gets you to the point where it's like, hey, I can't tell you these type of things because you're using them and you're cutting me. My intention wasn't to cut you. You're purposely using something that I told you in a state of vulnerability to hurt me. So that's when we start to develop those type of calluses and put those guards up to not be expressive to women. And it starts, usually starts early because, kids are cruel. So
Mm. Wow, that's so good. The fact that women do weaponize your vulnerability, and that sucks, but we do that. Accountability moment, ladies, we do that, and we need to stop doing that. So, Dama, with with that in mind, you feeling safer, kind of emoting to men and expressing, that protection of self, which is a form of self love, protecting yourself. What are some other ways you're showing up for yourself in terms of your self care habits and your self love best practices outside of the gym? What are some
oh
of the
yeah.
things?
Externally, I'm definitely a guy who every week goes to like the barbershop. Sometimes I even go to those. One of my real close friends has one of those. It's not like a regular barbershop where you get the bob. I got a bald head, just new to the bald head thing, but they give you it's $100 haircut, but you feel amazing when you leave out. I mean, you're like, wow. So, and then I read every morning. I just started meditating for like 15 to 20 minutes in the mornings when I don't have the kids. But so and did I say reading? Because I definitely still get back to the reading and just showing up for myself. The counseling still, even though I might feel like I have something together, still do it. I just make time for me. Whatever it is, do something I want to do. Tell people no. Just stop being so available.
Come on.
Those type of things are what I have done to, just show up for myself and be there for myself. It's been a journey. It took me a little while to do it because I'm very selfless. But when I do need to be selfish, I'm not afraid to be.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Toy, we're gonna come over to you. Same two questions. First being, how are you showing up for yourself? How are you expressing self-love and self-care? And then also, what do you feel about the black man and his self-love narrative in terms of media and safeness to emote with men versus around women?
I'm gonna start with the second part first, and I'll come back to the first part. Starting with the second part, as far as how the media sees men, as far as how, to example, other cultures see black men, and how I guess just how we're looked at in general. If you think of it like this, and this is how most men would think about it when you talk about groups of men, women have no rules. I didn't say black women, didn't say white women. I said women in general have no rules, but men can't fail. And that is a consistent narrative in everything you may see, is that a woman can fall short here. She can do this here to better herself, but men don't have the opportunity to fail. And if you look at social media, you look at everything that's out there, even when you're talking about therapy, even when you're talking about things like, financial and stuff like that, there's still that little bit of, well, what you in therapy for though, brother? What do you mean you got financial problem? What's your actual financial problem? You can do this or do that. We can't fail at something. We have to always find a way to make sure we're better than our counterpart. It's always a competitive edge in that sense, especially when we talk about social media, especially when we talk about just dealing relationships. And of course, is it Damu?
Dominic Dama.
Okay, Dom. That's like he said, women will use some information that you give them to cut you. And that is a consistent thing based on experiences in certain relationships. And I believe that's done, obviously, based on the intelligence of some women not knowing how to fight back with words and with their actual truth versus actually just trying to find a way to just cut you down a little bit, which, again, cutting you down, reaching back to the social media norm and media norms of you can't fail, showing that you're a failure somewhere weakens you. And that, of course, in an argument, and women are going to win arguments no matter what, just take the L. But in an argument, anyone makes you feel weak, then you turn to become physical or something like that. So that's where that comes from. To the second part of your question, as far as what I do as far as focusing on my self-care, I may give it a twist, because my self-care for me is always about trying to figure me out, meaning that I focus on my flaws and where I can better myself. So I try to figure out, where am I in life now, where I've been, and the mistakes I made. Like, I can look back at my life and say, okay, at what point in time in my life was lying to women acceptable? And why was that? And how can I grow from that? So that's where my self-care comes in, is knowing to be a better man first, and then of course show that same better man to society. You know, before you shine up anything and bring it outside to show everybody, you got to make sure it's right. You got to make sure it's working correctly. You know, so it's just one of those things. I'll try to make sure I'm complete first before bringing myself outside to show everybody that beautiful product. So it is therapy. It is being financially strong. It is being emotionally strong. It is looking at yourself and trying to understand your flaws and then trying to correct them. That's the other part of it too. After you figure out what your flaws are, trying to correct them. That's all part of self-care. Understanding why you feel a certain way about things and trying to accomplish a better thought process. Maybe someone told you about yourself you didn't like. Guess what? There's a little bit of truth sometimes in everybody's critique. So you got to sometimes look at that and say, why is my perception to that particular person that way? What have I done to give them that perception? So that's where I start with. I'm talking about just focusing on my self-love. I'm going to focus on my flaws. And it can be flaws I've been told, or it be flaws that I know of myself personally, because I can take a deep dive within before I even have to step out of myself. I don't need many people to tell me what's wrong with me. I'm going to start with inside, and then I'll reach out and say, hey, how do I look now? How are things now? And having those check-ins, similar to those groups you're talking about, having those check-ins with men and groups of men where they can actually check you on something and say something to you. So that's where I'll go with that question right there for you.
I love that.
Okay. I'm sitting here, I'm taking my notes. I'm going to say that I gave the big eyeballs to the $100 haircut. Y'all never say nothing about how much our braids or whatever it is cost. But do you, King? Do you? I ain't counting your coin. But I have a statement and then a question. Okay. So my statement is that the narrative that men can't fail is a story, right? And it's one that's planted in them from a young age. Mm-hmm. So what can we do now to shift that narrative so that in 20 years, we don't have another generation of young Black and brown men who feel like they can't fail? Because failure is only an opportunity to do better.
You want me to go first? I mean, let me know.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's multiple parts to that question. And it starts sometimes in the home, and it starts with how they're raised, and it starts also sometimes how the mother's nurtured. Now, unfortunately, in certain situations, a mother has to be the mother and the father. It does start with the home. If we have those two-parent households, they have that dynamic of understanding a man and a woman. So that's actually where it starts in the household. And understanding as young boys that sometimes when they get hurt, let them be hurt. Actually feel that hurt. As a mother, you want to reach out, grab them, and say, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You know, it may not be okay. You may not get something, and you don't get an alternative. You may have just lost something, and that's just what it is. And then in growing up in that, I always say I want my kids to fail within my four walls and learn what it's like to fail within my four walls. So when they step out of these four walls, they're able to fail in society, and it won't be as serious. So it has to be within the home and how the kids are raised. Now, of course, you say 20 years. What can I give a solution in 20 years? I almost feel like Trump. I have a concept of a plan, but I don't really have a plan. But if the plan is so much bigger than just, a man doing something or a woman doing something, it takes an entire village, like they say, to raise a child. And even raising a child is how you raise that child. And we have the scenario or the scenes that we see on social media, the mom and the son dressing alike. We see those type of things. And that, of course, can hinder a lot of this growth that we need. But then again, on the flip side, we have men that are not in the household. So ultimately, it starts to make sure the household is full. A little shout out, but make sure the household is full as far as having the male and the female counterparts in there, or at least having respected male and female counterparts in there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'll say. Yeah, I'll say pretty much the same for the most part. It's at the end of the day, we can't fail. I mean, our what we're supposed to do is be providers and protectors, and providing is just not failing. It's you have to get up. So you're going to have an idea. You got to think early on. You got to be able to tap into falling down and getting up. And like Toy was saying, sometimes that's from mom reaching in. Sometimes that's some kids just have a determination. I know I was one of those type of people that I was determined not to be like certain things that I saw. And nothing nobody else could do could drive me to do more than that. So it's almost like knowing your kid's personality or knowing your personality and figuring out how to tap into that when you do fall down 7 times, get up 8. Everybody doesn't have that. And we have so many people who get beat down about failing that they don't realize that, like Tiff said, that's the only opportunity to get better. Only failing is not trying.
Right.
And you know, that has to be preached, and it has to be from a young kid. Find somebody, find a rep, find a male role model. Even my mom was very great at motivating me. And I had a dad. My dad was a little more laid back. He wasn't in the house. I respected him. But at the same time, I had other examples of men who not to be like. And it had nothing to do with what they chose, because I had men that were outside that were determined to make it outside and were determined not to go to jail, but determined not to be dead. But they provided for their families. And I've had people who had jobs every day who sat there and drank until oblivion, but they got up and went to work every day. So you can have it on both sides of the, of the narrative, but you have to be able to tap into who you are at some point in time and realize nobody's going to hold your hand when it comes to success or failure when you get out here to this real world. So, it's putting your people, putting your kids, putting everybody around the people that can help them, and learning how to tap into. It's like a coach getting the best out of a person. He might can say one thing to this person this way, but he might has to coddle this person a little way to get him to understand how to perform the best way he can.
Right.
And that's probably the trick. Learning how to tap into where that determination is, to be able to get them to reach for your hand and get up.
So I know both of my co-hosts have questions. I have another question. I'm sure we got comments. So we're going to throw a lot at y'all tonight. I hope y'all okay with that. All right, Mel, go ahead. You had a question, and then I'm going to come to Tiff, and then I'll present my question.
I don't know if it's so much a question as a comment, but first of all, I just want to say I appreciate the two of you being on this show and showing that it's okay to be a Black man and put yourself first. Because I think so often Black men are taught that they have to sacrifice themselves first in order for everything else to be okay, which is, in my opinion, a very false narrative, because if you're not okay, how can you make sure everybody else is okay?
Exactly.
And, unfortunately, that narrative goes back to slavery and, far back, and that mindset has not been broken. That slave mentality has not been shifted enough. But it's good to see that two men are here who are trying to shift that mentality of, no, I matter. Like, my feelings are important. My pain is important. My mental health and my safety is important as it is for everybody else. Like, I can't protect you if I haven't protected myself first. Right. So I think that's really important. But I mean, I don't even know if that's a question that we could answer on this show, but it's like, how do we correct that narrative of you don't matter, or like that you have to put yourself on the chopping block for everything, whether it's your fault or not?
That's good.
I can jump in right there and say, when you talk about changing narratives, again, as you mentioned, generational trauma, what's in our DNA, really in us, the way we act, how we are, we're cautious, it's in all of us. And as you mentioned about the slavery piece, there was hurt on both sides. And with hurt being on both sides and changing the narrative, it does take some time. A lot of it, as Donald said, was the therapy, doing that type of work. Some of the stuff I said as far as figuring out your own flaws and willing to embrace your own flaws. And that a lot of that work only comes with experience and mistakes. Like, sometimes you gotta, as we're talking about fail, sometimes you gotta fail and be like, this ain't working for me, and actually acknowledge, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to figure out a better way, and I want to see myself better in society. Because one thing when you talk about how society sees us, the problem comes is how we see us as society views us. And when we can't change that narrative within us, we can't change the other narrative either, or the other narrative takes on so much of a powerful role that it controls us. Because if I saw myself the same exact way society sees us, and some of the things that the gentleman here mentioned earlier, talking about that, hey, being able to say no, those things there help change the narrative within us, that help us change the overall narrative. Along with shows like this, where men come on and like to talk about things in that detail, an aspect and keep themselves vulnerable. So that's the whole narrative. It's a generational curse, unfortunately, passed down to us. And I say us as Black people because we're the ones that have the instant fear, the instant trauma from things being taken away from us or being challenged amongst each other.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ways that we see each other is in a challenging way. And that stems from how our ancestors were in slavery. That's in our DNA. Don't get it twisted. Don't think just because you didn't go through it, it's not inside of you. It's part of your seasoning. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes you Black, is what your ancestors went through and why you feel the way you feel and why you have these cautionary tales that you tell your kids or your parents told you about. Be careful of this, be careful of that when it comes to the racism side. But also those same people tell you some things sometimes like, oh, be careful of a man, he's going to do X, Y, Z. That's that fair and competitive nature he's going to get over on you. Be careful of a woman, she's going to do X, Y, Z. That's that fearful nature of someone's going to do something to get over on you. We self-sabotage ourselves so much that it's very hard for us to be vulnerable. So when you are vulnerable and you're on shows like this and you're showing your vulnerability, it opens up the doors for others to do the same exact thing, or at least peek in that door and say, you know what would happen if I were to actually tell my spouse, I really don't like this thing, or I really do like this thing, or I wish we talk more about that. That's when those things would happen. Those different changes would happen amongst us. That's where it would start.
That's good. Damo, what you gonna add to that?
I mean, he right on point. I definitely agree. It's real hard to say too much else after that, because you touch on every narrative right there. I mean, it's tough sledding. You know, you have to. The one thing you have to definitely be is confident. You have to know yourself. Like you said, I'm a very accountable person. I can look at the mirror and like who's there and flaws and all. So I'm okay with that. When you put that bubble or that block around that, understand, especially with this social media age, that these people don't know you and their opinions, they're not helping you, they're not paying your bills, they're not making anything better for you, then why does their opinion matter so much? So you have to be able to stand in your own truth and take whatever comes with it, whether it's good or bad, and learn how to navigate through it. You can't control everything, can't control every situation. So just, put your head up and your chest out and make it happen.
Yeah.
And we are our worst enemies too, to be honest. I'm gonna jump back in again, but we are our worst enemies because, like you said about social media, we judge ourselves by looking at everyone else and what they think they have on their highlight reel. So even as a man growing up, if I'm a kid right now with a cell phone, 13 years old, a man is a person that has a gold chain on, sags his pants, walks around with some Air Force Ones on, and in my mind, that's a man. And you can't tell me anything different because that man has 1 million followers. My dad, he ain't got 1 million followers. He got like 20 people he went to high school with following him. He ain't a man. He gets up and goes to work every day. He actually talks to my mother. That is the connection. So the way the world is trajecting right now, there is going to be a snapback. Not sure how that's going to work, but it's going to be a snapback in actually defining man differently. And when I say differently, I'll say this, yesterday's man is going to look different tomorrow. When you add in everything as far as, I don't want to get too deep with y'all, but if you think about it, in my age, I'm 46. So let me say it like this. I'm part of that, what they call that bridge gap generation, where my mother's mother was connected to slavery. Well, my kids aren't connected to that. And because they're not connected to that, how they view themselves and see themselves, they won't have that same, I guess, bold dominance and being like, hey, I survived something. They're going to have a little bit of we all the same. And we're not all the same. And that's the problem. When you take that portion of it, then you take the LGBTQ community and mix everything up along with everything in this pot, right? I'm not saying tomorrow's man is going to be worse. I'm just saying it's going to be different. And then we'll be talking about, remember how your grandpa was, remember how your grandma was, and then women start talking about they want a traditional man. That label's going to change. Tradition's going to change. So some of us, what I call our I guess the bridge gap generation, are trying our best to hold on to that by having these conversations and hoping that these things go viral and hoping that people see this and hoping that they share with their kids. And there are going to still be a few of us out there that'll be holding that torch. Because again, like I said about what's in our DNA, that's in our DNA also.
Wow.
We're gonna still bridge through. It's gonna be a snap back. It's just gonna be some times tomorrow with tomorrow's man. It's gonna change a few things, and it's gonna take women and men to really uphold that, not just women and men. And it comes down to what women will accept in a man and allow. Because in all honesty, y'all got all the control. Let's just be honest.
Ooh, don't open that can of worms tonight, Toy.
I'm just gonna say one thing. If you look at all the women dating men who sag their pants, if they just didn't do that, I guarantee you men will pull their pants. Well, the men that do that, not that I don't do it, they pull their pants.
Yeah.
If you take away one thing from a man, I can't get hurt because of this. Guarantee they do that. Y'all got the power. Y'all don't know how to use it, but that's a whole nother topic. Y'all go ahead.
I just said, listen, we're gonna have to bring y'all back for that topic. But go ahead, Tip. You had a question, and I have a question as well.
Man, I don't even know if my question is relevant now because the conversation done went left. But no, seriously. So I don't remember which one of you said it, but you were talking about single motherhood and how women are raising their sons, and it got me to thinking about mothers who raise their sons to be the man she wished she had or that she feels she needs versus allowing him to grow into the man he needs to be.
That's
so.
I'll start with that one. I think that's a two-way thing. You can't. I think women, because I know I can speak on my situation personally. My mom raised me to treat women the way she needed to be treated. Doesn't mean that it was wrong. Doesn't mean that it was right. But I opened door. Through chivalry I did, and I'm definitely a man when it comes to dealing with a woman.
That's my best
opening
friend.
doors, just walking on the right side of the street, all that stuff, pumping gas, taking trash out, that type of stuff. On the other end of what your question is, they can't raise us to be the man that they want because every woman is different. So the same way she might feel like, hey, taking trash out, making sure gas is pumped, working on the cars, may feel like that's what a woman needs. I might deal with a woman that don't care nothing about that. So you have to kind of like allow him to be himself, but understand it's like certain things that respect level and hey, this is what you got to do. This is a woman. This is how you treat them. This is whatever. Well, communication, all those type of things. So it's kind of like if she's trying to raise you to be what she wants, then what ends up happening is you find somebody, and we always look for somebody that's close to our moms, if you're close to your mom, but you find yourself being put in a box and you don't know how to get out of it because all you know is this is how I was taught. This is all I know. This is the only way I know how to love. This is the only way I know how to show love. Because you can deal with a mom that wasn't emotional, didn't tell you she loved you, didn't kiss you, didn't hug you, and then you get with a woman and think that's not what you're supposed to do. And that, so it can go either way, but I feel, for the most part, I don't believe a woman should necessarily not put her hand in the pot in raising that man to make him understand and become in tune with his emotions earlier and know how to control them than later.
Okay. Thank you.
To add one little point to that also, a woman can raise a male, but she can't raise a man. That's the biggest thing right there is you can raise a male and raise a male child, but you can't raise a man. Certain things like the brother just mentioned, a lot of men, and this doesn't just necessarily go to women because sometimes men can't do it either. Just want to put that out there. A lot of things that you mentioned, a lot of people don't even understand that when you talk about why the woman is walking on the inside, not the outside. They don't even understand why. They think, it's because I got to be on the outside. That's what we're supposed to do. No, it's for protection because she's the only one that can give life and bring life. So you let that thing, that particular entity, that particular source, you got to protect that source. Gas. Well, why do you do that? Because it's not because you think, I don't want her to get out of the car, mess up her shoes. It's no, because if anything happens, she's in the car to pull off while you're there to still watch over and protect. Right. It's things that people don't understand, but they have the shell of a man, and a woman can, and some men can teach the image of a man or image of a male, but not actually what a man is, and understand the purpose behind that, and then get a deep dive of understanding that, hey, we all have a purpose on this earth. And as a man, my purpose is protect, provide, and then there's underlying purposes. And the woman's purpose, obviously, to nurture and bring life. And we just keep going on as you look at the big picture. That's what we're here to do. And then there's other purposes below that, but that's the main entity of it. So when you look at somebody who's not treating a woman the right way, they don't know their purpose. Their specific default settings aren't there because they don't get them because they were raised to be just the male. It's almost like having an iPhone and you haven't done any updates, and you have the iPhone, but you don't have any updates. You just looking like you look the part, but you're not. Your operating system is not up to date.
I mean, if you you know what? I'm like, yep. I'm gonna just my question. So I was reading this article.
Of course,
right? And it said that when it comes to Black men, our self-love is a fabrication which emerges out of the storytelling powers of our brain. Oftentimes, Black men are taught how to love a woman, but never how to love himself. What we think or believe is self-love is really just us taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. That really bothered me to hear. And so my question to both of you is, when did you transition, or when did you recognize that you were operating in a space of taking care of yourself enough to take care of someone else versus, no, I need to actually love myself? Damo, you said earlier, saying no, setting boundaries, finding time to spend alone. When did you realize that that pivot was necessary? Or when did you recognize, yeah, whatever I've been doing has not been self-love, but now this is it? Because I think some men could really use that help.
Honestly, I found it kind of later on in life, and that was going through my divorce. That was very trying for me because I know how much, like I said before, I'm very accountable. I know that I wasn't perfect. I know marriage is work, and I was willing to do that. The problem was when I lost who I was. And when I found myself after the divorce, and I started to realize, like, hey, there's a lot of things that you enjoyed, there's a lot of things that you did for yourself before you had to take care of somebody else and family that you were willing to, sacrifice and compromise and all the things that you're supposed to do in that space. But now that you don't have to do those things, okay, go back into finding who you are, things that you like, things that you loved, things that you like to do, people that you like. Everything. Sometimes you get married and you remove yourself from the people that made you or helped you in your happiness and all those type of things. So it was definitely with my divorce. And once everything was final and I accepted it, I really got into definitely loving on me because I couldn't love on me anymore because I was too busy loving on that situation. And that situation didn't give anything back to me. And by the time I realized that, I was, I'm a glass half full guy, but my glass was half empty.
Wow.
So to add on to that, to like Damo said, it is kind of like when you go through a traumatic situation, when you're, as a man, find out that your ego can be broken no matter what you do. Because, I mean, similar to Damo, obviously men handle divorce maybe different than women in certain senses, but essentially a man is like, the only thing that defines me as a man is my woman. So if my woman doesn't want me, or I can't be with this woman, then I'm no longer defined as a man. And sometimes it can be broken that way. The flip side of that is when you're trying to realize that particular scenario, when you start being selfish about loving yourself more, you then start attracting people that'll love you for you. And for me, that was a turning point for me when I actually had to get selfish and get out of the hurt, get out of the pain, get out of the egos. I'm not enough. Start loving on myself and saying, I am enough. I can do this. I can do that. I am sexy. It's like I got to tell myself that sometimes, and look at myself in the mirror, And when you start doing that, you then attract the people that want that. And then you realize that they can then basically affirm your thoughts. and affirm your feelings and affirm your emotions about yourself. And you no longer have to cater to somebody else and cater to who they are and who they think they are, because positivity can attract positivity. So if you're very positive about yourself, then someone else sees that. Of course, you got the, the energy, vampires, but you have that within yourself, you'll attract that in someone else. And they'll admire that and want to be around that, and they want to give you the same positive energy back.
So I just did a facilitation on Monday morning on selfish versus selfful, self-love, and the difference in that. So thank you for the double validation there. Like, we all up in here, all 5 of us.
No, we so appreciate that. So look, we're already close to time. We are obviously not going to get all 3 subtopics in, but this is good. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted the conversation to organically grow in the direction that people needed it. But I would like to at least touch on our 3rd subtopic for the night, because I think letting people walk away with what I'm going to ask and your responses to that may really help someone and save a relationship today. And then, of course, we'll drop a gem, and then we're going to get out y'all way. I'm supposed to be praying at 9. I'm going to be late, but I promise I'll be ready at like 9:15. So, our final topic would have been, if we were going to have enough time, the proxy. Women don't really do a great job of supporting and advocating for their man in his self-love journey. As both of you said, it took divorce for you to really get back to self. But I think that's something you should be able to do in your relationship, is have that time to take care of yourself, whether that's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, whatever, physically. You should have time to take care of self and carve out time in your life just for you without us feeling no type of way about it. And unfortunately, of course, women, y'all know I don't care. I like stepping on y'all toes because it is what it is. But we get very selfish. We get very clingy. We throw assumptions that there's another woman out there. We don't understand why y'all can't do every little thing with us and spend every waking moment with us. But sometimes you just need your time and your space. How can women who are ready, y'all see I said that with a smile because they come from me in my DMs, but how can women who are actually ready to be supportive of you, what can we do differently to help men, whether it's our sons, our husbands, our boyfriends? What can we do differently to really cultivate a space for you to love on you more often? Whoever wants to take that first, sorry.
I felt that question coming, so I went ahead and prepared and put something in the chat. And it's things like this that actually help. And there's some other portions of it too, encouraging self-reflection and goal setting. One thing about goal setting and self-reflection, when you encourage someone to do that, you're giving them the ability to look at themselves and actually see how they see themselves. And as a woman, you can add in on how you see your man. Sometimes we get stuck in the image of our own self and don't know besides what we told society to see us. Like, you should see me, my woman should see me as her strong man. She should see me as this, as the one that can defend her and protect her, and I should be all that. But what else does she see me as? Does she see me also as someone that can be a nurturer? Does she see me also as someone that can actually be kind? Does she see me as smart, intelligent? Does she see me as someone that actually can be supportive in different roles besides just standing in front of the bullet? Does she see me as a helping hand when she has something that's going on that I can kind of step up and do? Like, how does she see me? So encouraging that self-reflection and goal setting is what helps. And that also comes along with creating a safe space for expression. A lot of times, men, and I guess I'll say this side, a lot of times women will look at what men do as far as go to the fella's house to watch the game or hang out with the fellas as, what are y'all doing? What y'all talking about? What chicks y'all trying to look at? Versus saying, hey, have fun with your friends. Enjoy yourself. Matter of fact, tell the guys I'm going to go ahead and send them some Uber Eats. We're going to send over some chips and some beer or whatever. Enjoy yourself. You understand? Something like that separates that woman from every other topic that will be held that night, because men don't talk about women. We do quick, I know, like it'd be just to the point. Like, we ain't got to have a full-blown conversation. We can look around and be like, your girl called you? Yeah, I know. Do the video thing. Show it's just us here. That's how it goes. So that's what I say. Just when you have those spaces for them to have their safe spaces, allow them to be safe. Not allow them to go to those spaces and come back with, probably issues or why was you gone so long and all that type of stuff. Allow them to have that fun.
Yeah, I like that. Y'all heard that. Allow them to have that fun. Damo, what would you say? What would you recommend for us to do?
Definitely that, and also, I think Tima, me and you spoke on this before. You got to speak life, and you got to understand how. For you got to know who you choose, right? You can't choose somebody and then try to shape them into what you want them to be. You have to learn them and learn to love them and understand them the way you want them to understand you. Once that happens, then then sky's the limit. But if you keep trying to mold somebody to be something that they clearly aren't, and you knew they weren't when you chose them, how do they become what you want overnight? I had this saying in my past situation. I hate to keep bringing it up because it wasn't a bad one. I learned from it, but I was who I was for 40 years or 38 years. I've only been your husband for 2. You got to give me the grace. Like you said, the safe space, the grace, all that stuff is needed. So when you can do that, and then you speak that life and you speak that into your man, your husband, whoever you choose to be with or whatever you call them, when you know how to do both of those, sky's the limit. The sky open up for you, really. When you allow him to say, because I got my Sunday thing with my guys. We play cards every Sunday unless somebody out of town. Nobody's stopping it. Nobody. I don't care who it is, unless it's somebody some hurt, harm, or danger, or we got some plans. Don't plan nothing for me on Sunday. Between 6 and 10, where I'm just gonna be either here or there, but we gonna be together so we can get our fellowship in. I mean, it is what it is. Like you said, hey, I need my God time every week along outside of my counselor. There's only certain things I can say to them, to my therapist, but I can say whatever I need to say to them. And I need that space. And like you said, we're not gonna talk about it for long, but we're gonna have a conversation, check in with everybody. Hey, how's it going? Woo wah woo. All right, cool. Now we back to our regularly scheduled program.
And he not lying about that game, y'all. I'll be like, it's Sunday. I'll call him tomorrow. He's not even answering the bestie. Not during game night. That was really dope, though. We really appreciate that. Mel, I know you had a comment.
Yeah, actually, Dom kind of took part of my comment, but I think what he said was very valid, and that's something that I'm in a space, or have been in a space of learning, that we have to learn how to love the man how he receives love and how he needs love. We very often love them from our perspective of love, and then when it's he doesn't open up, he doesn't do this, or why isn't he closer to me, or why haven't we taken that next step, or what's happening? Because I'm doing all of these things, but you're not realizing that you're doing all of these things, and although they may be great and he may be appreciative of them, they're not the things that he needs. That's not what he needs to feel safe. That's not what he needs to feel loved. That's not what he needs to feel appreciated. And so I think as women, we have to learn to ask those questions and to pay attention. I think in my learning and trying to understand and wanting a successful relationship and out there in that prospect and realizing getting in order, it's men are not really talkative. They're not going to be so let me tell you this. They're not. That's just not what they do.
Right.
So are you paying attention for real? Are you watching? Are you watching the things that this man is going through? Are you looking at his life? Are you looking at his work? Are you looking at his surroundings and seeing what he's going through and paying attention to where there are deficits and where you can help? Because I've learned, or I'm learning now, that those are the things from men that mean more than the little things you do. When he can see that you're paying attention to him fully and really paying attention to what he really needs and what he really wants and where you can really be of assistance, and you step in those ways, especially without him having to say, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And you do it. It means a lot, and it allows him to feel more open to share and safe and vulnerable and be able to let you into those places and them spaces that you want to be let into. But it's well, I have the key. You have the key, but you're putting the key in the wrong door.
Right.
Just because the key fit in the lock doesn't mean it's going to turn. And so it's you keep, I put the key in and it went in. It did, but did the door open? No, then you got to try a different key.
Right. That's right. That's good, Mel. Thank you for adding that. Donald just dropped a comment in our private chat. I wish the other people could see it, but he says, "Love me in the way I need to be loved on purpose." I absolutely love that. I know in just my however many years we've been friends, almost over a decade now. One of the conversations we had that was really tough for me to receive. I was complaining about a boyfriend to Damo, and I'm like, I just and I'm going over. He quiet. He letting me talk. And then I was done, and he goes, "You need to respect his boundaries." Hello, what? Are you talking to me? What are you talking about? We're in a relationship, and he goes, "Natima, you don't respect that man's boundaries," and that's unfortunately what women do. You assume because you're his woman, you have access to him all the time. All the things that are his are yours. That's why most women will reach over and put their fork on their man plate without asking, because we have this entitlement that comes with relationships, and we don't respect their boundaries. And that was the hardest thing to receive. I had an attitude with him and my boo that day because I was like, what? Like, respect boundaries, we're together. But when I really thought about that, it's so true. And that impedes on their ability to love themselves in front of us. When we don't even love them enough to say, let me give you your space. This is your clear boundary. You don't have to enforce it because I'm already going to respect it. And that's something that I learned the hard way. Like, yeah. So I wanted to offer that for free. That was that was a gem from Damo about 6 years ago, and it still resonates with me now to respect his boundaries and not overstep, because that is going to make him feel safe enough to love himself in front of you. So we are at time. Damn it. But we did promise that we would be much more disciplined and structured. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
They're already calling for it in the comments.
They already calling for it. We are going to have Toy back. We're going to have Damo back. We so enjoyed you both tonight. Now, this is the part of the show where we drop a gem. We are asking that you leave something with our gems and gents. It can be relevant to tonight's topic. It can be whatever is on your heart. It can be something that don't even align with anything that we touched on tonight. We just want to hear from you and invite you to drop a gem. I am going to come to you first, Toy, and then we'll come to you, Damo.
For me, it's going to be, the gem will be celebrate and own Black identity. One thing that I can say with everything going on politically and everything that's happening in this world now, that everyone's talking about bringing your true self to work and your true self everywhere. Celebrate your Black identity as much as you can, because that'll also help you celebrate your male and female energy also within. And teaching Black men to see self-love as a radical act of owning and celebrating their identity. Encourage participation in Black-centered events, and let them understand that this is who they are. This is the other parts of teaching a man how to be a man and the purpose. Like we talked about earlier about why women walk inside versus the outside of the street. These other things also teach us about being a Black man, a man of purpose, and that's what those are about. So celebrate and own your Black identity everywhere you go. Own it. That is you. You can't take it off. You can't get rid of it. Celebrate, own your Black identity.
That is good. Oof, we like that. All right, Damo, drop a gem for the people.
The gem I would use, man, honestly, is take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. All that stuff. I know it's probably getting a little bit better as the time has gone on, but I like to reiterate it. We lose too many people too fast, too soon. And I mean, some of the stuff can be avoided. My gym, if I would say anything, man, go get your checkups yearly, 6 months. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, change your diet and be here for the people. Be here for your woman. Be here for your kids. Be here to celebrate your Blackness. But you can't do any of that if you over here need help up the steps and you're 40. Right. It's nothing but 7 steps. So, I mean, it's sad, but it's true. I mean, we all know somebody that you look at them like, how old are you? You can't. I parked too far? Really? So, like, that it's sad, but it's true. And you know, that I'm very active, so I like to try to, hey, get out and walk, get out and do something. Just start with something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my gym. Just go take care of yourself, man. Go to the doctor, make sure you get your blood work, and you're fine.
That's good. That's good, Donald. Thank you. Tip, drop a gem for the people.
All right, so this one's been resonating on my heart all day. There's a doorbell. I saw a social media post where there was a rapper, a well-known rapper, who was doing an interview, and he was talking about how his baby mama became a better person because of the things that they went through in their relationship. I shared it. That's why your eyeballs is rolling. And I want to say that the person who causes the trauma or the damage to an individual does not get to take credit for that person's post-traumatic growth. That is not a flex. You know, they didn't need to become bigger, better, stronger, and you didn't need to test their limits with your bullshit. Ooh. So yeah. But now that that person has been through that that trauma with you, and they have grown, allow them to live in their peace and grace, and shut your damn mouth. Now I gotta get my door.
That's a gem. That's a gem drop. Go ahead, Mel. Drop a gem for the people.
Oh my goodness. My gem for today is take the mirror off your glasses and pay attention outside of yourself. So many of us pay attention to things, and we pay attention to the people around us from our perspective, from our gain, from how it affects us and how it benefits us and what we need from that person. And we don't look at that person or those people for them. And we're not looking at their situation for them. We're looking at it from our eyes. So my gem today is pay attention. Open your eyes and pay attention outside of yourself.
Yeah. Wow. That is so good. I like that. Take the mirrors off. That was amazing. We have close to 100 comments. Gems and gents, we see you. We are so glad that you're here. We're sorry that we ran out of time and could not come back, but we, the co-host of this show, will go through those comments at some point and respond to you and show you some love. We so appreciate your presence. We appreciate your constant support of this platform. My gem for the night is for you to focus on your power and not the problem. I am on my fitness journey. I was in the gym. My personal trainer used to try to get me to be on the elliptical beyond 3, right? I was stuck on 3. I said, I ain't never going past 3. It hurts too much. My thighs hurt, right? And so I'm on the treadmill and I feel my body like really, really working. I'm like, what the hell? Why am I working so hard? So I finally get off the treadmill this week and I've been on the level 5 the whole time. But because I wasn't focused on it, my inner strength and that power that I had pushed through that workout for a whole 45 minutes. I was on a level 5, but I didn't recognize it because I didn't focus on it. And so I want to tell you that you are so much more powerful than you know. Take your eyes off the problem, put it on prayer, put it on your internal power, and just rock this thing out until you solve it. So look, that's all we have for tonight. I promise you a part 2. I am going to hold myself accountable to put together a part 2 for this episode. We are so grateful. We hope that you received something resonated with you. Go out there and encourage a Black man to love himself and be the support that he needs in doing that on his journey. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Continue to hustle and shine. Good night, folks. Toy Damo, don't leave.
Let's go. Let's go.